Hi student, let's try to understand the human brain. Is reflex action the only function of the spinal cord? Obviously not. Since we know that we are thinking being, a spinal cord is made up of the nerves which supply information to think about. Thinking involves the more complex mechanism and neural connection. What they are saying is student, thinking involves more complex mechanism and neural connection. These are concentrated in the brain, which is main coordinating center of the body. Brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. They receive information from all part of the body and integrate it. We also think about our actions, writing, talking, moving a chair, clapping at the end of the program, are the example of voluntary actions, which are based on deciding what to do next. So the brain also has to send the message to muscle. This is the second way in which the nervous system communicates with the muscles. The communication between the central nervous system and the other part of the body is facilitated by the peripheral nervous system, consisting of the cranial nerve arising from the brain and spinal nerve arising from the spinal cord. The brain thus allows us to think and take the action based on the thinking. As you will expect, this is the accomplished through the complex design with the different part of the brain responsible for integrating the different inputs and outputs. The brain has three such major part, that is region, namely the forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain. The forebrain is the main thinking part of the brain. It has region which receives the sensory impulse from the various receptors. Separate area of the forebrain are responsible for the hearing, smell, sight and so on. There are separate area of association where the sensory information is interpreted by putting it together with the information from the receptors as well as with the information that is already stored in the brain. Based on all this, a decision is made about how to respond, and the information is passed on to the motor area which controls the movement of voluntary muscle. For example, our leg muscle. However, the certain sensation are distinct from seeing or hearing. For example, how do we know that we have eaten enough? The sensation of feeling full is because of the center associated with hunger, which is in a separate part of the forebrain. Study the level diagram of the brain, human brain. We have seen that the different parts have a specific function. Can we find out the function of each part? Let us look at the other use of the word reflex that we have talked about in the introduction. Our mouth waters when we see the food we like without our meaning to. Our hearts beats without our thinking about it. In fact, we cannot control these actions easily by thinking about them. Even we wanted to. Do we have to think about or remember to breathe or digest food? So in between the simple reflex action like change in the size of the pupil and the thought out actions such as moving a chair, there is another set of muscle movement over which we do not have any thinking control. Many of these involuntary actions are controlled by the midbrain and hindbrain. All these involuntary actions include blood pressures, salivation and vomiting are controlled by the medulla in the hindbrain. Think about activities like walking in a straight line, riding a bicycle, picking a pencil. These are possible due to part of the hindbrain called the cerebellum. It is responsible for the precision of voluntary actions and maintaining the posture and balance of the body. Imagine what would happen if each of these events failed to take place if we were not thinking about it. How are these tissues protected? A delicate organ like brain, which is important for a variety of the activity, need to be carefully protected for this. For this, the body is designed so that the brain sit inside the bony box. Inside the box, the brain is contained in a fluid-filled balloon, which provide for the shock absorption. If you run your hand down the middle of your back, you will feel a hard, bumpy structure. This is the vertebral column or backbone which protect the spinal cord. How does the nervous tissue cause action? So far we have been talking about the nervous tissue and how it collect the information, send it around the body, precede information, make decision based on information, convey decision to the muscles for the action. In other words, when the action of the movement is to be performed, muscle tissue will do the final job. How do animal muscle move when a nerve impulse reaches the muscle? The muscle fiber must have. How does muscle cell move? The simplest notation of movement at the cellular level is that muscle cell will move by changing their shape so that they shorten. So the next question is, how do muscle cells change their shape? The answer must lie in the chemistry of the cellular component. Muscle cells have special proteins that changes both their shape and their arrangement in the cell responsible to the nervous electric impulses. When this happens, new arrangement of these proteins give the muscle cell a shorter form. Remember when we talked about the muscle tissue in class 9? There were the different kind of muscle such as voluntary muscle, involuntary muscle based on what we have discussed so far. What do you think the differences between these would be? Coordination in plants. We will study coordination in plant, immediate response to stimulus. Okay. Then movement due to the growth. This is there. Next one, what is there, students? So this chapter is going to be hormones in the animal, hormones in the plant, and then the chapter gets over. Thank you.